Okay, Chairman, we're now live.
Thank you very much, Mark. Welcome to the virtual meeting of the Executive Scrutiny Committee for the London Borough of Hillingdon. This is a virtual meeting and is also broadcast simultaneously on the Council's YouTube channel, Hillingdon London. The purpose of this committee is to scrutinise the decisions made by the Cabinet, who have just finished their meeting tonight. But the purpose of this committee is to scrutinise as a meeting tonight. Beg your pardon. My name is Councillor Higgins and I'm the chairman of this meeting. Before we start, please can I have some housekeeping? Please can people ensure that their mobile phones are off or on silent? Please keep your microphone muted when not speaking and then unmute to speak. As a chairman, I will call on those to speak during the meeting. As before, I'm on an iPad, so Mark will indicate or let me know if you wish to speak because I can't see you all. Forgive the moustache, that is for November. It will be gone by the next one. Anyway, before we move to the agenda, I would just like to say that in the items of technical meeting control, if any councillor leaves the virtual meeting part-way through for a period of time, e.g. lost connection, I will continue the meeting unless we're not quorate, which is 4 councillors. I will have attendance roll call. Before we move on to the agenda, I'd like to welcome Councillor Jazz Dillon as a substitute for Peter Curling. I will go through your names and you can all confirm that you're here. Councillor John Riley.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wayne Bridges.
Good evening, Chairman. I'm present.
Thank you. Councillor Nick Dennis.
Hello, I'm here, and also I think your moustache looks very distinguished.
Thank you very much. Councillor Simon Arnold.
Good evening, Chairman. I too am present.
Thank you. Councillor Money.
Good evening, also present.
Councillor Prince.
Present.
And Councillor Dinnan.
Good evening, Chairman. Present, thank you.
And Mr. Little.
Present, Chairman.
And Mark, obviously, I've seen you and heard you. Thank you.
Present.
We'll now move on to the agenda. Apologies for absence, please, Mark.
Yes, Chairman, we have apologies from Councillor Peter Curling, and Councillor Jazz Dillon has kindly agreed to substitute tonight.
Welcome, Jazz. Declaration of interest for these meetings. I'll take note as done. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so I don't know if this is relevant, but reference is made later on in the papers to a committee report about elective home education. I was the chairman at the time. I don't know if that's worthy of any interest, but I'll just say it anyway.
No, that's going back to the POCs to be reviewed again. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Do we agree the minutes of the last meeting? Thank you.
Agreed.
To confirm that there are 5 public reports that we were considered by the Cabinet today and 1 report in private. Item 5, matters of clarification from the last meeting. At the last meeting, members sought clarification on a number of points in the reports which were circulated yesterday. These are for noting or comment, but note for further clarification. Does anybody have any comments or anything on that?
Councillor Prince, I believe, Chairman.
Councillor Prince.
Thank you. Would you be able to find out what the expected time frame is that we are given the responses from the queries that we raised at the previous meeting? Because the last 2 meetings, we've only had the update, the follow-up, the day before the meeting, which doesn't give us enough time to consult with our group members. That's happened 2 months in a row, maybe more, I'm not sure. So I just wanted to check how far in advance of this meeting should we have the answers from the previous meeting to enable us to effectively scrutinise them?
Chairman, I can answer that. Yeah, they should be with the agenda when it goes out. So that's a week, 5 clear working days before. So all I can do is apologise for the last 2 meetings in terms of gathering that information from across departments. But you're right that the target wasn't met on those 2 times, and we'll strive to make sure it is next time round. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I mean, obviously that we are in strange times, so staff and situation. So, but if everybody bears with it, I'm sure it will get better. So, thank you very much.
Chairman, sorry, Mr. Little has a comment.
Mr. Little.
Thank you, Chairman. In one of the questions that I raised about the education and healthcare plans, I asked for some data about the past backlog that was included in the numbers. Although it's told us how many are still outstanding, it didn't tell us how many were included in the numbers to date from the backlog. And I wonder if that figure could be given.
Through Chairman, I mean, we've got the response there. Perhaps if Mr. Little would like to clarify exactly what's missing from that offline outside the meeting with me, I can go back to officers and then report back to the committee.
Thank you, Mark.
I would be delighted.
Great. Item 6, consideration of the Cabinet decisions taken tonight for potential call-ins. I am now going to take you through the committee, the reports considered by the Cabinet tonight to see if there's any comments, clarifications or need for potential call-ins. After we have gone through each of the public items, we will then move to private session and the live feed will be cut for the part 2. First is the noting the older people's plan, obviously very successful for this administration. Has anybody got anything on that, please?
Councillor Arnold, were you commenting?
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to say what a great report this is, and I think we should congratulate the council on everything they do for our older people. I know from residents that I've got in my own ward that particularly the burglar alarms has been a great success, so I just want to put that on record.
I concur. I'm sure the rest of the committee do as well. Thank you.
Councillor Prince, Chairman.
Councillor Prince.
Just as a kind of a slight tangent but similar, when can the Cabinet expect a younger person's plan?
Well, that's something that you can bring up in full council, or you can raise as a members' inquiry. We've been through this. We had it in council as well. But anyway, very well said. Thank you, Councillor Prince. Anybody else got anything else?
I can't see anyone, Chairman, no.
Okay, we'll move on to item 6, Hillingdon elected home education policy. This is really just for noting because it's going out.
Sorry, Chairman, just to confirm, item 6 is the lease of Rislip Golf Course to High Speed 2.
Oh, is it right? My notes are the wrong way around. I beg your pardon. Yes, sorry, beg your pardon. So it's the item 7. Item 6 is the grant lease of the new school site for Robert School Funds. I do have I'm going to pull rank here as being the chairman. I read this book. It's a very interesting report and really lots of positives. But one thing I do want, Mark, if it's possible for you to find out, is how much the compensation will be from HS2. I think other members would be quite interested in that as well. If that's okay with you.
Yes, Chairman, absolutely, find that out.
Has anybody else got anything else on this?
We've got Councillor Riley and then Mr. Little.
Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to re-emphasise what Councillor Bianco was saying about the school part of this. We don't want people to run away with the idea that either that the council is building a school, which we're not, and it wouldn't be for us to do anyway. And secondly, that this is in any way an absolute indicator of the fact that anything is going to happen. This is, as Councillor Bianco said, ring fencing, metaphorically at least, identifiable land in case such a school is needed in such an area at some point. And I know that there's already been quite a bit of concern expressed about the fact that a school is going to be built, and that's not the case. And more especially that it's not the council that are making the application, or in one sense that it's got nothing to do with the council at all. It's if anything is going to happen, it's going to come from the education sector, supported by the Department for Education. So it is very important to make those distinctions, and I'm pleased that the Cabinet member did so.
Thank you, Councillor Riley. Mr. Little.
Thank you, Chairman. I was slightly surprised by Councillor Bianco's comments in that last month we had a report on school places planning, which suggested that certainly by the time any proposed school would be built, that we would have getting on for a shortage of about 200 places at secondary level in year 7. Is his remarks an indication that those places are required elsewhere? And if so, is it possible to know how many places are required in the planning area where the school might be situated?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Little. I mean, I can answer a few of those things, but Mark, do you have anything to add first?
I think officers probably could only respond on the last point that Ms. Little made in terms of how many places. So
Yeah.
if the committee agrees, I could at least request that from the Chief Education Officer.
Yeah, that's fine, Mark. We can do that. I mean, that has been common knowledge anyway at the moment. But I think it's the question of waiting and seeing what the situation is, isn't it? But yeah, is that okay, Mr. Little?
Thank you, Chairman. The information will be fine, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else?
I can't see anyone, Chairman, no.
Okay, then we go to item 7, Hillingdon Elective Home Education Policy. Again, this is for noting because it's going to go back to the POCs.
Chairman, we have Mr. Little, as you said, this will be going to Councillor Bridges' Policy Overview Committee in January for comment, and then back to Cabinet in February.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Mr. Little.
Yeah, Mr. Little.
Yes, I'd just like to say in advance of it going back to the POC that I was disappointed in the way that this policy has been presented. Not that it has come to us, not that its contents are inaccurate, but that it has a tone which could be a lot more positive than it appears. You get about 3/4 of the way through before you get the council saying that it is able to help parents in any way. And that first 3/4 is all about ways in which they might stop people from doing elective home education, okay. Which is not the intention that I think the council started out with, but I'll follow that up in more detail later.
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay, we go on to item 8, which is monthly council budgeting report. Do we have any questions on this one, please?
Councillor Dillon, Chairman.
Councillor Dillon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, page 125.
Before we start with the budget, please can everybody give me the pages and the paragraphs that they're referring to for the questions?
Page 125, Appendix B.
Thank you very much.
Total project variance. First 2 lines, New Useley Leisure Centre, Useley West Drayton Com Centre. We've got a variance of 672,000, which one would presume is for the new leisure facility, including the swimming pool in West Drayton. But it seems that there's some additional expenditure to boost the sums being spent. And just wondered why the budget is being reduced and what's now being omitted from the West Drayton scheme.
Maybe it's just that we've got to manage to get the costs down, but we can ask that question.
If you could, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. No problem at all. Anybody else?
Councillor Money, Chairman.
Councillor Money.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you can kindly turn to page 98, 74, paragraph 74-ish, I guess. It's just about the level of families in temporary housing. What is the number of families which are being planned for by 31st December 2020 in temporary accommodation and in bed and breakfast? It'll just be interesting to know.
You mean what? We can't plan anything. We can only, if people unfortunately fall on hard times, we can give you an indication of what the numbers might be.
Yeah.
Mark, I think it's we have to wait till the report comes out.
I mean, Chairman, it's a question I can ask officers. They may have projections, like you say, of likely people that may need this coming up. So I can see if that's possible.
That's okay. Anything else?
Councillor Dillon, did you want to say?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Could I ask Mark to come back as well, just on the same item? Were they the reasons why that scheme was then retendered and subsequently delayed? Was, you know, if there are savings there being made?
Councillor, just to confirm, you're talking about the Useley and West Drayton Community Centre refurbishment? Yeah, fine, okay.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned there. Okay, thank you. Is that it now? Is that Mark?
Yeah, I think that's it, Chairman, for that item.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Yeah.
Item 9. I would like to also express my thanks to Jean for all the hard work that she's done. I was fortunate enough to work on many of those projects with her to get them through over the line. So I wish her all the best in retirement. I'm sure the rest of the committee will agree with me on that one. Is anybody going?
Councillor Riley, Chairman.
Councillor Riley.
I was just going to reiterate that and say to Mark, Mr. Chairman, if you thought it was an appropriate thing to do on behalf of the whole committee, if Mark were to, I don't know, write to Jean or put in the minutes and send her a copy of your comments and the extent to which we all are very, very grateful to all her work and dedication to the council.
Okay, lovely. I will get that done. Thank you. Okay, I will now we will go to part 2. So I'll wait for Mark to cut the feed. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and good night.
Okay, councillors, you can just remain until I cut the feed. Thank you.